How is it that she's targeting people who are opposed to illegal aliens, which happens to be 78% of the American people, as potential right-wing extremists? How could she get away with this, Jimmy?
Well, we saw the Clinton administration target the Boy Scouts. When you have the Boy Scouts and Christian people and ordinary, normal people considered to be threats and the enemy, it shows you how we've already had the revolution in America, and now they're just finishing up the touches. I mean, we are in serious trouble. North Korea is building new...
Well, let's forget North Korea. Let's stick to domestic policy today. We have a Department of Homeland Security that's turned on American patriots. How do we stop them since they're violating the Constitution, in your opinion?
Well, we don't need to grow and build and make more conservatives. We need a massive anti-communist movement. This is going to first require an immense amount of education.
I don't think we need a movement. I think we need to throw Janet Napolitano out of DHS. I think we need to start with one communist at a time. Now, the question is, how has the homosexual mafia so penetrated America that they could actually target Americans who voted against homosexual marriage as being potential terrorists? How is that possible, Jimmy?
Well, the communist movement, it's the Popular Front, the All People's Front, Afro-Leninist, Homo-Leninist, Enviro-Leninist. The Marxists have been working in this country for about 90 or 100 years. They've never given up. And the stupid conservatives that keep saying we won the Cold War, the communism ended, they are actually helping the enemy now. And they can't go back and say they made a mistake.
Well, at the turn of the hour on the Savage Nation, we're having Governor Rick Perry, who has finally stood up to this overbearing federal government, Jimmy. We've got to start with a politician who understands the danger we are in. And at exactly 34 minutes after the hour, we have Governor Rick Perry, who has backed a new resolution affirming the sovereignty of the state of Texas under the 10th Amendment in order to prevent the federal government from crushing states' rights. I'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, your very freedom is at stake right now. Pay very close attention to Michael Savage. Pay very close attention to what I am saying to you. We have learned today from the Washington Times that Big Sister Janet Napolitano, the head of so-called Homeland Security, is monitoring what she considers to be extremist right-wing groups in America. That would be you if you are against abortion. That would be you if you are against illegal aliens. That would be you if you have voted against homosexual marriage. That would be you if you are a returning veteran who can use weapons. I am not making this up. We have the entire report from the DHS on michaelsavage.com, and you can't get on the site. It's being overloaded, or the government has dumped the site. I don't know which is which. We're also running a poll. Should Janet Napolitano be forced to resign for having overstepped the Constitution? You know, in George Orwell's book, 1984, the slogan of the dictatorship was this. It was, Big Brother is watching you. In Obama's New America, Janet Napolitano, who is in charge of Homeland Security, now meets the definition of Big Sister is watching you. Are you a right-wing extremist? You may be. You don't even know that. Are you concerned about abortion? You may be a right-wing extremist. Are you worried about preserving your borders? Are you worried about illegal aliens being granted amnesty? Yeah, well, you may be targeted by Homeland Security. Now, I predicted this would happen. I told you about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, that I feared that if there were another terrorist event in America, when you said, well, will they finally stop the growing threat from Islam within? Will they finally investigate these Islamvilles going up all over America, these armed training camps with Islamic extremists? I said, no, they won't. What they're going to do is they're going to come after you, the loyal American. Now, they haven't done it yet, but they're getting ready to do it. Because in the next few days, the report says they're going to so-called partner with local police to target you. There is a way to stop this woman. There is a way to embarrass them finally. And I'm working with a team of lawyers right now to find out who may be on this list. And if I find that anyone that I suspect is on this list, we're going to bring in a lawsuit against Janet Napolitano and the federal government and have her fired. We're going to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. We're going to use the law to save our skin. We're going to use the law to save the Constitution. We're going to use the law to save America from these extremist communists under Barack Hussein Obama. Now, what was the Reichstag fire, you may ask, those of you who don't know what it is? The Reichstag fire was an arson attack on the Reichstag building in Berlin on February 27, 1933. And it was that fire that permitted Adolf Hitler to seize total power. How did that happen? Well, someone started a fire in the Parliament building, the Reichstag. A search was conducted by the police. They found a shirtless, unemployed Dutchman. He was a communist. And they used this evidence, the Nazis used the evidence that the communists were beginning a plot against the German government, and this man and 4 communist leaders were arrested. Didn't end there, though. Adolf Hitler, who had been sworn in as Chancellor of Germany just 4 weeks before, urged President Paul von Hindenburg to pass an emergency decree in order to counter the, quote, ruthless confrontation of the Communist Party of Germany. And what he did was they suspended civil liberties. The government instituted mass arrests, including all of the Communist Party parliamentary delegates. And when they were gone, the Nazis went from being a plurality party to the majority party. It was the Nazis who started the Reichstag fire.
Savage.
I happen to believe that the Constitution does not empower the federal government to overrule state laws without restraint.
That's Governor Rick Perry of Texas backing a resolution affirming the sovereignty of the state of Texas under the 10th Amendment. Governor Perry, welcome to the Savage Nation. Thank you for being with us.
Honor to be with you, Michael. Thank you very much.
Well, this is amazing, coming on the same day that we learn that the Homeland Security Department is warning of right-wing radicals who believe in borders, language, and culture. But I'd like to stick to your position, Governor, because we have a glimmer of hope when there's a governor like you who is saying to the federal government, what exactly are you saying?
Well, the message is clear from Texas. We believe in the 10th Amendment. We think that the federal government is overstepping their bounds substantially with the stimulus program in particular. I don't think there's been a greater grab for power using this economic crisis as their vehicle to try to penetrate into the states, force states to change the way that they do business. For instance, they were using $555 million of unemployment insurance to blackmail Texas into expanding their program, into changing laws, I might add, that we had debated a number of times in previous legislatures, and our citizen legislature decided those were not the expansions that they wanted to see. But this government, this administration, trying to force the state of Texas to expand their government without a vote of the legislature by mandate on high from Washington, D.C. And my position was it's time for someone to take a principled stand against Washington and say, no, we are not going to do that. We're not going to kowtow. And by the way, the 10th Amendment means something to us in Texas. We believe in it. We're going to stand up for it. And I think tomorrow at tea parties all across the country, there's 64 at least by last count in Texas. You're going to see a huge turnout of Americans who had it up to their neck with this administration trying to force expanded government upon them.
Well, you said that they offered extended unemployment insurance from the feds, and then they wanted you to expand the unemployment insurance program? Is that what they were demanding?
Yeah, what they were doing is sending the money to the state into our unemployment insurance account. And in return for that, they had strings attached. They said, oh, by the way, if you take this money, here are the